Hi guys, Viking Reefing here. So, reefing influencers. This is quite a heavily debated topic, and I've seen a lot of people going back and forth on forums, Instagram, Facebook, and what have you about the role that the reefing influencers play in the hobby, good or bad. What strikes me is that there's a complete lack of information coming out of people that are on the other side of the aisle, so to speak, that are the actual influencers that people are talking about. Personally, I detest the word influencer. It sounds like you're some sort of a model that's pushing like makeup or fit tea or some other bogus products. But I guess that's probably the category that I slot into. I do realize that some parts of this video could perhaps be construed as some sort of a weird flex on my part, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I simply believe that transparency and openness is actually very important, so that's why I chose to speak on this topic. I've posted on a couple of different platforms asking for people's questions regarding reefing influencers and what might be going on behind the scenes. And for such a divisive topic, I must say that there was a surprising lack of interest. I did get some interesting questions, and I will answer them here. If there's something I didn't cover, please post your questions down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. Or if you want clarification on something, I'll do my best to answer that as well. I just want to preface this as well by saying that I can only speak to my experiences. I can't speak for anyone else. If you're interested in anyone else's opinion or what they think or what have you, I won't comment on that. You'll have to reach out and ask them. One of the most common things that you'll hear, either if you are a reefing YouTuber, which I guess I am, or a reefing Instagrammer, which I guess I am as well, and you show up some manner of product, either on YouTube, say a longer review, or a shorter form on Instagram, you'll almost always at least get one or two people who will say that, oh, you're only using that because they sponsored you with the product, or you're only using that because you have a relationship with the manufacturer. And in my case, that couldn't be further from the truth. Every single piece of gear that I have on my tanks is there because I think it's the best piece of gear that I could get for that specific purpose. If you just think about it, I mean, the amount of money and time we spend on these tanks and livestock and additives and things of that nature, why would you choose a subpar product to put in a reef tank? To me, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. For example, if I was choosing between two sets of lights, one which was utterly crap, or pretty bad at least, and I didn't have confidence in it, but it was free because someone wanted to sponsor me, or if I had to pay money for a different kind of light, I know what I would be going for. It would definitely be the light that I believed in. Jake Adams, and I'm not comparing myself to Jake Adams, so hold your horses here, but he once said something that was quite interesting, and he said that for him, every piece of gear in the world has the exact same price, and that's zero. So you can be sure that if he was using a piece of gear on his tanks, it was most likely the best option for that tank, because I mean, the amount of pull he had in the industry, he could get anything he wanted for free. Another question that I got, which isn't at all related to sponsors and things of that nature, is that how do I deal with negative comments and hate? And the truth is, I mean, the reefing community isn't that bad, really. I mean, there's always a couple of bad apples in the bunch, but overall, the reefing community is great and filled with positive people. I grew up playing computer games, a lot of like shooters and stuff like that. And if someone thinks that the reefing community is toxic, well, you obviously haven't been gaming. So I grew up with that extremely hostile environment online. So I'm very used to it. I'm quite blasé about it. And to be honest, sometimes it's even funny to just rile people up if they say something negative without cause. It's probably not like the best thing to do, but I mean, sometimes it can be quite funny. And I guess the biggest question overall, and a question that multiple people asked, obviously, is that do I receive any monetary compensation for anything related to the reefing hobby? And I can only speak for myself, but I've never even heard of anyone offering cash for like a positive review or something. So no, there's never been a cash incentive for me to say anything about a product or anything like that. I do believe that there are a couple of channels and influencers that perhaps are having like some form of a deeper partnership with some brands, which they like sponsor their channel or something. They might receive some monetary benefits from that, but I'm not quite sure, so I can't really speak to it. Another very important question is that am I free to say whatever I like about a product that I'm testing out? And for the most part, yes. I believe there's been one manufacturer who put some constraints on what I could or could not say in regards to their product. Safe to say, I didn't follow through on that particular partnership because that's simply not a form of partnership that I'm feeling comfortable with. I started my channel to give out valuable information, and I personally wouldn't feel comfortable in construing facts just to get a free product. That simply won't be happening. All the manufacturers which I use products from that I've got sponsored have all been very chill about it. No one has even mentioned that I can't say anything bad about their products. And I mean, personally, I would only be interested in partnering up with someone who manufactures very high quality products, so quality shouldn't be an issue. Another question, which is quite an interesting one, is how does one receive a sponsorship in reefing? Do I reach out to companies or do they contact me? Well, 9 times out of 10, the manufacturer will reach out to me and start a conversation about possibly featuring some of their products on my tag. Provided that I feel comfortable in using their products and it's better than something I'm already using, or at least more interesting to me, then might partner up with them, if everything else is feeling kosher. A couple of times I've reached out to manufacturers when I've been debating changing something up and basically said that, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Would you be interested in providing some sort of a product that fits the bill, which I have my eye on? And sometimes they're interested and sometimes they're not. Another question I got, or I guess more of a statement, is that there's a very big lack of long-term reviews on products. And I completely agree. I'm guilty of this myself. My, I guess, excuse or explanation for it is that if you're picking up a new product, for example, you've got this new pumps or got a new lighting system or some fancy aquarium controller, you're super freaking excited to talk about that product when you receive it. So you just pour your heart and soul into that review or a video about the product. And whilst I really do understand the value of long-term reviews, and I would, as a consumer, would definitely like to see more of those, but very selfishly, talking about a product twice just isn't fun for me. And the whole point of this channel is I do it because it's fun. But honestly, this is a quote from a 40K book, I believe. I recognize my failings and I will strive to correct them. Like I said, I really do see the value in long-term reviews, and I'll definitely schedule some of those in my planned videos moving forward. Something else that I've seen is that something that really annoys people, and it annoys me as well, is that you see a popular reefing influencer on YouTube or Instagram, or I guess TikTok. I'm not 14 years old, so I'm not using TikTok. Is that people tend to swap out a heck of a lot of gear. One week they have pumps from this brand. One week they have pumps from another brand, and they've got a new lighting system, then they got a new aquarium controller, and they got a new heater, and it just goes on and on and on and on. Yeah, I can fully see that that's annoying. I find it very annoying myself, and it's not something that I would do personally. I value stability over everything else, so constantly changing shit on your tank is simply not for me, because if there's one thing that's important, it's the well-being and health of my tank. And I think the very best question that I got was from a fellow reefing Instagram account, Reefsci, or SunnyX on Reef to Reef. And I will actually read most of his statement and question here, because I think it was very well phrased and very interesting, and it gives some insight into what he's thinking on the subject as well. So, quote, as someone who has been on and off in the hobby spotlight for a number of years, and just this past year getting into social media side of things, one aspect that I dislike about the influencer types of account is the lack of explanation as to what is done and how the results has been achieved. And yes, Sunny, I certainly do agree with that. Some accounts, they're basically a black box. They just show you some very pretty pictures of corals, and you have no idea how they managed to get that tank to where it is now. Like I've said, one of the main missions that I had when I started my Instagram and YouTube channels was to impart information. And he has a very nice statement here, which is, I personally follow your page on Instagram, and it's one of my favorites as you do explain what is done to maintain your system and are not overly commercial. Thank you very much, Sunny. That means a lot to me. On the other side, there is the product posting and pressure to accept gifts of gear, including monetary compensation. You guys are getting money to post company products. I have a small 11K following on Instagram, but growing page, and I'm sent messages weekly about using or promoting various products, and end up turning most down. I wonder, is your process to determining what you will accept similar to my own, where if it smells funny or doesn't fit in your philosophy, it is outright ejected? Yes, Sunny. If something feels off, I probably won't even respond to them. I'm getting swamped with messages from different manufacturers, a lot of Asian stuff, for example, which seems to be extremely low quality, which I would never be interested in putting on one of my reef tanks. Like I said before, if I don't think that this piece of gear is the absolute best piece of gear for the application that I wanted to fill, I'm simply not interested. I've spent way too much time and effort on my tanks and systems to hamstring myself by using inferior products. And on a adjacent note to that, I've been contacted by several very good manufacturers and brands out there that would offer me, for example, flow pumps or lights or what have you. But I'm super happy with what I got, and I see no reason to change out, for example, the flow of my tanks. I'm super happy with the products that I have, and I see no reason to swap them out. The only thing is that I might need to increase flow in my big tank down the line, but that doesn't really have anything to do with the actual quality of the stuff that I've got. It's simply that a mature reef needs more pumps. I think I'll end this video on a quote from someone who wrote, "Best of luck to you on this opening yourself up to the world, lol." And just remember to tell yourself, any engagement with a video is good. Farm the hate, my friend. The algorithm doesn't care. I'm not overly worried about getting any hate on this video. I'm simply putting it out there to give my views on the subject, and if I get asked in the future about anything, I can just refer to this video. And if there's any hate coming my way, c'est la vie. It is what it is. The next video I will be posting is probably how to combat cyano, because I recently had a run-in with a cyano outbreak in my system. So look forward to that. I will be covering different methods on how I deal with a cyano outbreak, depending on how serious it is. I think this is it for this video. Happy reefing and have a good one. Bye.